At our ministry, we produce a lot of videotapes. We've made over 1 million videos now in 6 languages. They're not copyrighted. We encourage you to get our stuff and spread it around. Tonight we're going to cover, our videotape number 3 is all about dinosaurs. Where do they fit into the Bible? This fellow from National Geographic says, no human being has ever seen a live dinosaur. Well, now hold on a minute. Does he know that, or does he think that? In order to know that, wouldn't he have to know everybody that ever lived? And in seminar part 2, we talked about the firmament that was above the atmosphere. Now, during this time, something very strange would happen to the reptiles, because reptiles never stop growing. Reptiles never stop growing. So before the flood came, when the reptiles lived to be 900 years old, they would get to be really big. Dinosaurs were just big lizards that lived with Adam and Eve before the flood came. Some of the scoffers have said, man, if it was stormy seas for a whole year, it'd kill everybody on the ark. And he only had to bring 2 of every sort, not 2 of every species. So that's where people get all confused about this. God told Noah to bring them after their kind, after their kind, after their kind, 2 of every sort. 7 of some, of course. Just 2 generic animals of each kind, and only those in whose nostrils was the breath of life, and only those on dry land. Noah didn't have to bring any fish. They had plenty of water outside. And he didn't have to bring any bugs, by the way, because bugs don't have nostrils. They breathe through their skin, through spiracles. And he brought just 2 of the generic dog kind. Probably the horse and the zebra had a common ancestor. I wouldn't argue about that. Did you know there's only about 8,000 basic kinds of animals in the world? And how big was the ark anyway? According to the Big Bang Theory, 20 billion years ago, nothing exploded and produced everything. And 4.6 billion years ago, the Earth cooled down, rained on the rocks for millions of years, turned them into soup, and the soup came alive 3 billion years ago. One skeptic said to me one time, he said, "Hovind, did you realize there are hundreds of kinds of dogs in the world?" I said, "Yes, sir, you're right about that." He said, "Do you think all those dogs came from just 2 dogs on Noah's Ark?" I said, "Sir, would you look at what you believe? You believe all the dogs in the world came from a rock." And today, there are 270 surviving flood legends. The Hawaiian have a legend that says, long after the death of Kunihana, the first man, the world became a wicked, terrible place to live. There was one good man left. His name was Nu'u. He made a great canoe with a house on it and filled it with animals. The waters came up over all the earth and killed all the people. Only Nu'u and his family were saved. The Chinese have a legend called the Hai King Classic, probably one of the oldest stories in the world. The Hai King Classic says Fu Hai is the father of the Chinese civilization. The story says Fu Hai, his wife, 3 sons and 3 daughters escaped a great flood. He and his family were the only people alive on earth. After the flood, they repopulated the world. Interesting. Sounds kind of like the Bible story, doesn't it? The Toltec Indians in Mexico have a legend that says the first world lasted 1,716 years and was destroyed by a great flood. Only one family named Coxcox survived. Why would there be 270 flood legends? And if you look at the country of Turkey today, you'll find on the far right-hand side a mountain called Mount Ararat. On a Turkish map, it's called No Ungumshi, which means Noah's big boat in Turkish. There's a sign, No Ungumshi, 5 kilometers this way. They say it collapsed, folded in after it got old and splayed out to the side. Ships kind of fold out to the side as they wear out. So it's much wider than it used to be. They found iron rivets all over that region.